Hello, good afternoon. My name is Alejandra Guerrero Rodriguez, and today I'm going to present the individual factors on learning. I hope you like it. Watching students learn an additional language is a lot like seeing them swim for the first time. Some children dive right in and are soon padding around the deep end. Others take their time, dipping a toe in the water and gradually venturing out from the shore. It's common to believe that a child's skills with learning an additional language comes naturally. I don't agree. Yes, some children do pick up language skills faster than others, but that doesn't mean that the ability to learn a language is an attribute possessed by only a lucky few. When students start learning an additional language, some do soak up the knowledge faster than others. Yet it is not just natural ability at work. I have actually found that there are so many internal and external factors that influence how students pick up a new language. I am going to analyze these factors that I'm talking about and that influence the language learning. They are divided in two groups: the cognitive factor, the affective factor, physical and physiological factor. In the cognitive factor, there is involved intelligence, language aptitude, cognitive style, and learning strategies. The intelligence, it is said, that is a natural ability that we were born with, and it's the one that makes us learn and acquire the knowledge of a second language. The language aptitude is how students feel about the language, acquiring it. The cognitive style is divided in independent and dependent style. And it is also the learning strategies, that they could be direct or indirect. What is problematic about all learning and knowledge gaining process is integrating new knowledge into an existing cognitive structure. Elaborative techniques encourage both the understanding and remembering of new knowledge, since they create links between new information and the already existing stock of knowledge. Generally, they are used when students invent analogies and mnemonics for facts that have to be learned. Links new ideas to their previous knowledge or express new information in their own words. Those techniques support learning through understanding. Mnemonic devices help memorizing and remembering and structural material, such as vocabulary or word lists, as well as the complex correlations which is of special importance of gifted learners and underachievers. The learner creates his or her own strategies as best suits him or her during the learning process, whether consciously or unconsciously, but they are always there for when it is time to use them. That is why we can say that each student creates his learning, and it is said that each student learns in a different way by creating and using these own learning strategies to acquire knowledge. In the other group that I have been talking about is the affective factor. In the affective factor, there is the attitude toward language learning, the attitude that students take in order to acquire the language. And the motivation. This is an important factor. The motivation for language learning. It could be extrinsic, intrinsic, integrative, instrumental, and resultative. I always thought that motivation depends 100% on the teacher, and now with the reading I have done, I realize that it is like a teamwork. Students, in some cases, parents are part too. The teachers are responsible for motivation too, but it isn't only the teacher's responsibility. On the result of success or failure to acquire a second language, and also it depends on the context of the learner, his or her environment, and above all the desire the student has to acquire a second language. I think the motivation is an important factor that must be given to the student so that he or she can acquire a second language, and we as teachers must encourage our students through our daily practice with the dynamic and attractive activities to the learners. But also in the classroom, we must provide them with positive feedback in order to develop competence. Providing feedback enables students to gain control over their own learning, a sense of belief about their abilities. Teachers who provide feedback to students about their efforts give them the idea that through hard work they can achieve tasks and do well. Through hard work they can achieve tasks. Teachers believe in their ability to use effective teaching strategies, classroom management, and engage students in participation can enable students' learning. Show the teacher's sense of efficacy had a positive effect on the students' motivation and on the own teaching effect of students, giving clear instructions and giving through explanations. Some teachers engage students in mentoring, which enables them to ask and also motivate this to the students. In the other group that we have been talking about is the physical and physiological factor. In the physical factor, there is involved the age, and if the physiological factor, it is involved the personality. In the age, there are different theories and opinions given by different researchers that through experience explain that physical factors are important and to be considered in acquisition of a second language learning because, as we as teachers said, children at the time they start learning a second language around 4 up to 10 years are like sponges and they can bear approach to knowledge. And I can tell that it happened to me as a student too. At this period of time, children become more self-confident and more outspoken than adults. Teenagers and adults will be more reserved as they are more afraid to speak in a second language as they may be mocked by saying the wrong thing. It becomes harder to students to have native pronunciation from the teen years. Some students also find that it is more difficult to fully acquire foreign language as they get older, but that isn't true for everyone. The personality. The personality could be extroverted, introversion, the risk-taking inhibition, the anxiety, tolerance of ambiguity, and others. It can also influence the student's personality, can affect how they learn a second language. More introverted students have been shown to take longer to acquire a language because they are more hesitant to make mistakes. Extroverted students, on the other hand, are more likely to go out on a limb and try out their newly learned vocabulary. To ensure both personality types succeed, it is important to create an environment where students understand the mistakes are part of the learning process and it is more important to speak than to be perfect. So, as I experience with my own students, I can tell that being an English teacher is a big responsibility. I can say to my students, I can guide you by transmitting my knowledge and my enthusiasm, since this is what I love to do. I will continue to prepare myself to be able to practice and apply better tools in my daily practice. That's a compromise that I can do with my students, And this is what I learned about these subjects. Thank you very much and have a good day.